Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are tonight's entertainment.
Yes.
Yes, I had to start this podcast off with a DC reference. You know it. You know this channel. My name is Gio. Thank you for joining me for the Fandom United Podcast. And I am joined by a good buddy of mine, a fellow podcaster, Mr. Keith Barnes. How are you, sir?
Doing good, man. I wish I had a little thing of shrimp cocktail I can take a bite of, like Joker did in that scene.
Oh man, classic movie. What's it been 12 years, 13 years? Came out 2008.
Almost 13, yeah.
Yeah, man. Still holds up, still considered one of the greatest top
I think we're
three.
coming up I think he died that February. I think we're coming up on that anniversary, right? I think he died.
Yeah.
He died
it was I want to say January, maybe February.
January?
Yeah. Around this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rest in peace, sir. Well, that still hits to this day for sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, all right, guys. So you know how these podcasts usually go. If you haven't tuned in, though, normally I get to DC news first, and then a segment I call in other news where we talk about news outside of DC in Hollywood that I find particularly interesting. So let's start with the DC news. And today, pretty big news dropped. It's official. We have a release date. We have a countdown ready for Zack Snyder's Justice League. The movie will arrive on HBO Max March 18th, 2021. And what you're looking at are 3 posters from the director, 3 posters teasing Zack Snyder's original cut for Justice League. You already know a trailer is coming around the corner. He also revealed a synopsis for Zack Snyder's Justice League. And by the way it sounds, this will be so much more different than the 2017 movie that was released. As you guys know, that movie was reshot, re-edited, torn apart when Zack Snyder left due to a family tragedy. So, Keith, what are your thoughts on Zack Snyder's Justice League? The posters, the synopsis, the release date. Do you have HBO Max already? What are you thinking, sir?
I have HBO Max. Looking at it right now on my screen, right in front of me here. Okay, so that's cool. So we're looking at just about a month and a half-ish.
About 45, 46 days.
Yeah. So, see, that finally gave me a little sense. Because, I've been, like, complaining about, I'm tired of hearing about it. Let's just get to, when are we going to get this, right? I was really thinking it's going to be, like, fall or something. Like, so I was kind of rolling my eyes like, man, let's get to it, man. So it's good to finally get a date. All right. So I'm finally like, okay, we know when we're going to sit down and watch this thing. Finally, and talk about it. I like that poster with the flag. That's a cool one. I like that image there.
Cool. They're saying that's a reference to the death of Superman comic.
Yeah. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. They had the torn up Superman. Well, not his cape, but it kind of was his cape, I guess. Was it his cape? I don't remember. But anyway,
I believe it was his cape. Yes.
It was his cape. Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. And then got the film reel one there, which is interesting. But,
well, it's a reference to his cut.
Right.
Finally.
Yeah. Exactly.
Arriving. It's been a long 2.5 years, sir.
Has it been 2.5 years?
Yeah.
That came out in
3. It'll be 3 years this November.
Yeah, you're right.
No,
yeah. So
3.5. I'm sorry.
Right? Yeah,
I stand corrected.
17, right? Was it 17?
17, yes.
Yeah. Jeez. Yeah. Wow.
That's how long 2020 has been. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's great. We're getting it finally, and it's coming soon. Like that'll be here before you know it. So I see I didn't know about the synopsis there. I'm kind of a little bit like Chris Terrio. I don't know. I didn't know he was writing this. He wrote this one, but we'll see. I mean, it's more of Zack Snyder stuff. Then I think it'll be. I'm expecting it to be pretty good. I'm sure it'll be better than, it'll certainly be better than the last one. But
May I push back on Chris Terrio a little bit and defend him?
Of course.
All right, so he came on board when Batman v Superman script was already written by David Goyer, and I believe I can't remember the other name. Right. So that script was already written, but he did a couple call it polishing. polishing the
Script
script.
doctor.
Yeah, script doctor.
Yeah.
Justice League, he co-wrote, as we just saw.
Yeah.
And he also wrote Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah,
Now, what do
that's
those
where
two movies have in common?
Rise of Skywalker and
Justice League,
Justice
2017.
What's that?
Studio meddling, lack
Sure.
of vision.
Yeah.
And the lack of vision is more on not so much Zack Snyder, because we know that man has a vision. We know he has a vision.
Yeah.
But him leaving and Jeff Johns, Joss Whedon, and others taking over that project, we don't know exactly how much is Chris Terrio in that movie.
That's true.
And with Rise of Skywalker, I mean, that goes deeper than just J.J. Abrams. That's Lucasfilm for you. So if this is good, how much does that sway your stance on Chris Terrio?
You may have just done it, to be honest. I knew that. Like, I never really fully was like, the way I feel about BVS, we don't have to get about that. It's like I said, it's hit or miss here and there, depending on the day. But I don't blame him. I guess he went for some stuff. He went for it, right? Some of it, just for me personally, didn't work. Some of it did. It's whatever. But Justice League, yeah, you're absolutely right. That's full on studio. Just, I really want to see a story about what happened with that movie one day. I wish the late great John Schnepp was here to make a doc about. Just, it's so bizarre.
Oh yeah. And I would normally recommend the Release of Snyder Cut book, but that goes into the movement behind that, and what you're talking about is like actually behind the scenes, like the kind of stuff that Ray Fisher is, has been, putting out there as far as misconducts and all this other stuff. And we won't spend too much time on this because we have a lot to get to.
Right.
But I noticed David Goyer's name is not on here.
It is not. Yeah.
Jeff Johns' name is not on here.
That's right.
John Berg, who was another infamous producer during those reshoots.
Yeah.
And obviously Joss Whedon right there. So
right.
More examples that this is going to be something completely different. Yeah. And that should at least pique the interest of the average comic book movie fan or the film goer. You've heard so much about this on Twitter, reading about it and whatnot. You got to, at the very least, be curious what it is,
Yeah, definitely. That's where I remember when they first finally announced that it was coming, or announced that it was finally coming, I should say.
Right.
And June, I think it was, back in May or June, something like that, of 2020, I think it was.
They announced it in March of 2020.
Was it March? Okay.
It might have been April. I think.
Yeah, I think it might
have been April.
It was very early in the horrible state of the world. But I remember at the time being like, I don't care, I'm not watching it at the time. But it took some, talking to you and Jacob and the guys, and mostly you, but really thinking about it, like, oh yeah, okay. And then seeing the trailer from Fandom, which is really cool. Okay, yeah, you're just right. You hit it right on the head. Just at least the curiosity of it. But I'm expecting a full-on different, different and better.
It's a 4-hour movie, so there's going to be at least half the runtime is going to be different.
That's like 4 hours, God. I know. You can pause it. Yes, I know. But I don't want to.
You want to watch it all the way through.
Yeah.
Hey, I could see that. But hey, we made it through the Hateful Eight. We made it through the Irish.
That was, yeah. I had to break that up. I was watching The Irishman, and I watched 2+ hours of it, and all right, I'm just turning the rest off and go to bed. I didn't see how much, and when I started the next day, oh my God, there's still another hour and a half left. So I don't know.
The silver lining though is these are superheroes. It's Superman, Batman, so it's a little more than your average, just your average Joe.
Yeah.
But hey, man, glad to hear it. Thanks for the conversation. Glad to hear it. Let's go to another DC topic because we love DC so much on this channel. And we have brand new images of James Gunn's upcoming R-rated The Suicide Squad via an HBO Max trailer previewing their 2021 slate. Take a look at these images right here. Magnificent, gorgeous. I mean, look at Harley Quinn. They're going. All right, so the one on the top left is them walking in line. I assume they're going into battle.
Awesome. I love it.
And then you have a close-up. Harley Quinn's like, I've been there, done that. I've been through this. No worries. Look at me eating a snack on the way.
Yeah.
And then on the bottom row, we have two characters who are very highly anticipated, two new faces. The Peacemaker, played by John Cena, and Bloodsport, I believe, played by Idris Elba, who is a completely new character, if I'm not mistaken. And I have one more image. Here's another full shot of the squad. Look at that. That is
the King Shark over there.
Yeah. Talk about a lineup, huh? Like,
that's awesome.
Just imagine being a prisoner off in the distance, like, oh, they're here to save us, and you look off and you see them, and you're like, what the hell is that? Are they here to save us, or are they here to kill us?
Right.
So, your thoughts on these images and James Gunn's Suicide Squad?
Awesome. I cannot wait for this one, man. I really wish Will Smith could have been a part of it, but
his Deadshot was pretty badass.
Yeah. But I mean, look, got Cena, got Idris Elba, all these great cool King, like I said, King Shark in there, which is hilarious. Yeah, man. I mean, I can't wait. I can't wait. And the most is Diablo? Is he coming back? I don't remember.
So in the theatrical version, he obviously vanished, right? We assume he died.
Yeah.
In David Ayer's cut that he has long hinted about, the Ayer cut, he says it's not so cut and dry, that he is considered to be like a godlike, right?
Okay.
Because we saw him transform into a monster, for lack of a better word. So David Ayer has hinted that El Diablo lives on, but as of right now, he's dead.
So probably not in this one, at least.
Yeah.
Okay. I was curious. Okay. Well, yeah, man, images look awesome. You're always going to get, like, Harley Quinn's going to be front center in these, as long as she's part of the team. She's always front center, which is cool. So always happy to see her. She's never, like, we got Birds of Prey was awesome. She's great, and she's going to be great in this one. Like, she's the draw, kind of. Although you can make an argument that it's, I mean, obviously James Gunn and Guardians of the Galaxy and all that stuff. So, but yeah, that's a cool image of her eating the apple. That's totally her. And yeah, look at Cena and Idris Elba squaring off there. I don't know if they're arguing or.
His helmet's so shiny.
So it is. So
polished chrome.
Yeah. I wonder what he makes that out of. But I can't wait to see him, what he's all about, man. That's yeah, it looks great, man. I can't wait for this one. Really can't.
Hey, man. Like, on paper, promising year for DC.
Absolutely.
On paper. Absolutely. With, again, Zack Snyder's Justice League, at the bare minimum, has to be better than the theatrical version. At bare minimum.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad, R-rated, James Gunn, Marvel director. But then again, there was a time when we were excited about another Marvel director stepping in for a DC project, and I'm referencing Josh Whedon taking over. But hey, we'll cross our fingers and hope for some great stuff. Again, all on HBO Max.
Yeah, absolutely. When's this one again? No, I don't remember the
Suicide Squad. I want to say.
Announced a date?
I want to say Suicide Squad. I want to say August.
Okay.
So look right. Yep, August 6th.
Okay, cool. All right. So there's a chance. Well, they said some of them where theaters are open, they'll be in theaters, right, for a month.
Yes.
Oh no, HBO Max is a month, and then they'll they'll be in theaters
So they'll be in theaters the same day as HBO Max.
for like 30 days or whatever.
But HBO Max will only be 31 days.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Okay. So there's a chance. I don't want to speak too soon. Maybe we can. If things are going well, maybe we could catch this one in the theater.
Yeah, we were saying that. We were saying that last year.
I know.
There's a chance, Tenet and what else? The Eternals, November.
Yeah. James Bond. Yeah, you're right.
But regardless, it's nice to know that we are getting content no matter what, whether it be streaming. All these movies are pushing back. So these movies right here, say what you want about the hybrid release, be critical about it, be protective about the theatrical experience. But at least these movies, we know they're coming.
Right.
And what we're getting.
We'll see them.
Yeah, we will see for sure. All right, guys. Well, normally this is where I go into a segment I call In Other News, where I talk about news outside of the world of DC. Now, I wanted to do something a little special because it's my channel and I am a fan of this genre. We are a couple days away from February, and February is Black History Month. What we're going to do here is share some of our favorite selections. And I am also, I'm not sure if you've done this, I'm going to also tell you what streaming service you can find these movies on, because I did some research. It's okay. I'm here. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I appreciate the conversation. Let's get into this. Keith.
Yes.
Go ahead and start off with a movie that you would recommend.
I would highly, highly recommend, and we were just kind of talking about it off air before we started, but The Hurricane. Now, big chunk of mine are, I think, I got a lot of Denzel Washington led projects on, but because he's my guy, love him. But yeah, Denzel Washington came out in '99, big year. If you remember what it was, if you were one of those people that's old like me and you remember 1999, it's a big year for movies at the time, and this was a big one. This was one where he plays boxer, based on true story.
Hurricane Carter, yep.
Reuben Hurricane Carter, that's right. Yep. Who was wrongfully imprisoned for triple murder.
Yep.
Back in 64, I think, in the 60s. I should probably have that.
60s, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, and spent many, many, many years in prison. It took a group of young kids, one kid in particular who looked up to him and
idolized him.
Yeah, fascinated with the story, and was really just looking into it and realized there was a lot of problems with his trial and with the case, and got a group of law students, convinced a group of law students to look into it, and it led to his release. And it's an awesome performance. This is one where Denzel Washington absolutely, he should have won for Malcolm X. Absolutely should have won for this.
He lost out to Kevin Spacey for
American Beauty.
American Beauty.
Yeah. Which is, I love American Beauty. Love Sam Mendes. It's a good movie. Denzel should have won this. Should have won this one, in my opinion. The Oscar. Talking about the Oscar, he was nominated for best actor, and it's one of those ones where when he won for Training Day, we look back and go, all right, cool, but he hit the two.
It's like Leo DiCaprio when he won for The Revenant.
Absolutely.
And his Hurricane was The Wolf of Wall Street.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree. But regardless, movie's very, very good. Liev Schreiber's in it. A few other, a bunch of other notable. I think Dan Hedaya's in it. I think is in Usual Suspects. He plays the dad in Clueless. He's in it.
Yeah, you got a couple names in here. John Hannah from the Mummy movies.
Yes, he is in it. That's
he played Jonathan, her brother.
That's right.
Clancy Brown played the guard.
Yes.
The prison guard.
He's always a prison guard.
Right. Shawshank Redemption. Yeah. But I completely agree with you, man. This is one of those movies, and regardless of how you feel, maybe they dramatize some of the story,
Oh
and
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean they do that with all these movies.
yeah,
It's the performance.
yes,
There's a scene where he's sitting down in the prison cell and he's talking to himself,
hmm
and we all kind of do this, um, whether we want to admit it or not. He's reasoning with himself. He's like, trying to stay sane
yeah,
because he there's a chance he could get out, but he's
yeah,
wrongfully convicted. He's putting so much pressure on himself because he's a
yes,
promising prize fighter.
yeah.
So yeah, you absolutely got a great recommendation here with the first one, The Hurricane, starring Denzel Washington, which you
Absolutely.
can find on Hulu as well as HBO Max. Is that correct?
Yes, that's where I caught it. It's yeah, HBO Max. So it's on Hulu too as well. That's cool. Okay.
Yep. That's awesome. There you go. More options. Okay. In case you don't have one or the other. Chances are if you have Disney Plus, you got Hulu.
You're
So
right. You're right.
yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and do one of my movies. We'll go back and forth.
Okay.
And I kind of wanted to go with more recent ones,
Mm.
and ones that are a little bit more, I guess you could say, serious, inspired by true events, based on true events, whatnot. And there was one that I absolutely had to include. It's a movie that I did revisit last night, Hidden Figures.
Absolutely.
This movie, I believe we saw it in theaters, did we not?
We did. It's the first movie we saw together. I
Yeah,
recall.
and
Yeah.
boy, was it a great one that still
Yeah.
absolutely hits you today. Taraji P. Henson in the center
Oh,
right there as Katherine Johnson.
yeah.
Octavia Spencer to the right as Dorothy Vaughan, and Janelle Monáe in her film acting debut as Mary Jackson. These three women, so responsible, like so much responsibility for some of NASA's early accomplishments as far as space flight goes. And I absolutely love this movie. These three actresses right here,
Mm.
great chemistry together. They bring it when the drama calls for it.
Yeah.
Such an important story. They handle the material very well. And I just love how the movie focuses on them during that time in NASA and what they had to overcome just to get, fair work. They weren't being paid more than other people, obviously, during that time. And the hurdles that they had to overcome, I just thought the movie did a great job telling that story. Such an important story, such a heartfelt story, at times a feel good story. But yeah, absolutely recommend this. What are your thoughts on it, Keith?
100%. Completely agree. I felt bad because a lot of this stuff took place near my hometown in Virginia,
Mm,
and I didn't learn about any of this. Uh, Catherine Johnson, Catherine Johnson, right?
yep.
Okay, yeah, was from I think she lived in Norfolk, Virginia. I grew up in Virginia Beach, so right there. Yeah, I didn't know any of this. I used to go to the NASA Air and Space Center up in Langley all the time when I was a kid. So, well, it's really great story. Also just great. I was appreciative of it because obviously we saw the struggle, but also just we saw their contribution,
Yes.
how instrumental they were in the space program in those days, in the early days, and especially Katherine Johnson, who was, I mean, was a big part of those early days. Stories we did, like I said, just alluded to. We don't get to hear that too often. So,
Mm-hmm.
and performances, like you said, Taraji was out. She's great in everything, but she was just stand out in this movie, man. She was.
There was one scene where she just had enough, and she goes off on Kevin Costner, who plays
Yeah.
one of the NASA directors.
Mm-hmm.
My goodness. I mean,
Yes.
if there was ever a campaign to do her for best lead actress, it's that scene.
Yes.
And she absolutely delivers, so intense.
Was it the bathroom one where because she had to go to a completely different building to use the
Yep.
bathroom, and
And he's like, "Where are
where have
you?
you been?
Where have
Yeah.
you been? What are you
Yeah.
doing? This and that." Completely unaware
Yeah.
of, the environment,
Right.
that these ladies have to work through, and it's a great cast outside of these three. You got Glenn Powell as
Mhm.
astronaut John Glenn, Kevin Costner, Kirsten Dunst, and then from The Big Bang Theory, God,
Jim Jim Parsons, I think that's his name.
Jim Parsons.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great cast, even greater story. I could not recommend this enough.
Marshall Ali. Marshall Ali. And
Mahershala Ali.
yeah.
Yes,
Brief for
absolutely.
the brief role in here. Yeah.
Man, I look up to him and Idris Elba as far as like trying to
Mm.
be a smooth man,
Right.
smooth with the ladies. I can never get that way, but hell, man, like if there was ever figures to look up to,
Absolutely.
make them the next James Bond, please.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, Hidden Figures on Disney Plus. Check it out.
Yeah.
Absolutely recommend it. Keith, what is your next pick?
Good call. Good call. All right. Next one is another bio. Well, yeah, biopic. It is another Denzel Washington led movie. This is directorial debut.
Yes.
It's Antoine Fisher, 2003, I think.
Right in that time.
Something like that. 2003, 2004, something like that. Yeah, his directorial debut stars Derek Luke in his film debut.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course, you got Denzel. You got Joy Bryant, I think, in a small role in that film as well.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, story just this
Viola Davis too.
Viola Davis, yes, very brief role near the end of this film.
Yep.
Which in rewatching it, I completely went, "Oh my God, Viola Davis!" That's a tough scene to get through there, but
yes.
Yeah, man, and it's just about this young man. It's based on a book by the real Antoine Fisher, who was just a young man, and just his journey through his growth, his struggle dealing with his past, being an orphan kid, trying to figure out where he came from, and he joins the Navy, and his struggles there, trying to come up, just his growth as a man, as a person, and him trying to. Denzel Washington plays his therapist, I guess. Also as a
psychologist,
psychologist, yeah. And just convinces him in telling his story, convinces him to go back and figure out where he came from. And he's a young man that was in and out of foster homes and grew up in one particularly abusive, physical and verbally and emotionally abusive foster home. And yeah, it's a simple story, just in terms of the premise, but there's a lot goes into it, and powerful movie. Like I said, there's a few scenes in here that are pretty tough to get through.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's
for his film debut, Derek Luke, excuse me, is very great.
Hey, there are times I wanted to say Derek Fisher too. I'm like, I can't, man. See, so that was you're a basketball fan, like,
exactly.
But yeah, I completely agree with you, man. This is actually a pretty heartbreaking movie, because whether we want to admit it or not, there are a lot of these types of situations happening in the real world. Like I can speak from my own experience. I relate to some of this stuff in the movie. That's why it hits stuff close to me. But man, let me tell you, Denzel in his directorial debut does a fantastic job, especially working with a young actor like Derek Luke. Luke.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to make sure I get that right. Yeah, it can be a tough movie to watch at times, but it's so powerful. I love the messages in there. I love the themes in there, about family and, discovering, where you're from and stuff like that. The ending, I will say, well, let's not spoil it.
Yeah,
Let's not spoil it for in case anybody, hasn't seen it. But go on, sir.
I think it's heartbreaking, but well, in not spoiling the ending, but I think it's hopeful though.
Yes.
Definitely hopeful,
Yeah.
and so you can kind of see. You can see it. It's just one of those things where what you've seen. Okay, it's been bad, but it can get better if you wanted to. And yeah, sometimes and it's just some great lessons that the character learns, and certainly, like you said, carry over into real life, and just about embracing. It's okay. Terrible stuff happens to all of us. It's okay. It's okay to be upset by it, but don't hold on to it. And just about looking forward, looking ahead.
I agree. Yeah, and I guess heartbreaking wasn't the best way to describe this movie. I meant more like there are heartbreaking moments, and
I agree. No, I think you're right. Yeah.
A lot of moments that really hit you.
Yeah.
If you have a heart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Absolutely.
Dan, that was a great choice, man. And I've actually watched that movie several times on DVD. One thing I should point out about myself, I grew up with one TV in the house. So I grew up watching a lot of these kind of movies, which is why I wanted to have this conversation, because there are so many great movies with, African American actors, actresses, filmmakers, such powerful stories. And, it's just something that I wanted to do personally. So
Absolutely.
thank you for having this conversation with me.
Of course, man.
Being cool with me having this. So let me go ahead with another movie of mine. And this one's fairly recent. It's inspired by true events. It's not so much serious, but my goodness, this is gold. Comedy gold. Dolomite is my name, and fucking up motherfuckers is my game. Eddie Murphy is back as Dolomite. This movie is so damn good. Look at the recognizable faces in there. You got Mike Epps. You got is that Key or Peel?
Michael Keegan.
Key.
Michael Key, I think it's yeah.
Michael Key. Not pictured. Wesley Snipes.
Yes.
Yes, he's so good. And the story is about Rudy Ray Moore.
Yeah.
Developing an outrageous character named Dolomite. Becomes an underground sensation and star of a kung fu anti-establishment film. And that could make or break Moore. And obviously, if you know the story, it makes him.
Yeah.
It makes him. It's such a fun movie, such a fun performance. Eddie Murphy, if you followed his career, he can bring it as a dramatic actor when he needs to. And boy, does he bring it in this movie. That being said, I said this movie is comedy gold. It really is.
Yeah.
The stand-up scenes where Eddie Murphy is on stage, yelling, cursing, telling jokes, rhyming, gold.
Mm-hmm.
Gold, vintage Eddie Murphy. The Eddie Murphy that we've been missing, the Eddie Murphy that we've been wanting to see. So great. Yeah. Keith, your thoughts on Dolomite is my name.
You couldn't be more right. I wish I had thought of this myself. I know on our other channel, we were Apocalypse. We were talking about our rankings for that year. I think I had this at number 4 of 19 when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, just he spot on Rudy Ray Moore and telling the story, and just a guy who, like you said, he just wanted to entertain the world. That was it. Like he just felt like he had a story to tell, and he had just some funny, silly, ridiculous things to say, and he just wanted to make people laugh, genuinely. And his performance, like you said, and when it's funny, it's dramatic, but not in a serious way. Like he's just determined, and he gets it done. He gets it done. I love the way when making this ridiculous movie, this Dolomite film. I think one of the guys on our channel, compared it to The Room. That guy, what's that guy's name?
Tommy Wiseau.
Tommy Wiseau, yeah, right. Where and I was like, well, yes and no, but see, Tommy Wiseau really thought he was making a great movie,
right?
Whereas Dolomite Rudy Ray Moore knew this movie was ridiculous. And he was like, I remember the line in the movie of Dolomite, he's just like, that's why it's going to work. Like, it's ridiculous, of course. He's like, he knows. And it was a huge, huge hit, and he's one of those guys, kind of, a lot of people look at him as the kind of the godfather of rap, hip hop.
Oh, yeah.
Because like I said, him rhyming, telling those rhymes.
The roots of that, yeah.
Absolutely. And because he had music playing in the background of his stand-up, and he's saying all these crazy rhymes about how great he is as a human being with women and all this other stuff. And, so yeah, it's great. I couldn't recommend this enough, man. I'm glad you made this call. That's great.
And I got to give a shout out to the actress on the top left,
yes.
Davine Joy Randolph.
So good.
So damn good in this movie.
Yeah.
For sure. I could not recommend this movie enough, guys. If you're a fan of Eddie Murphy, this isn't Haunted Mansion. This isn't Meet Dave. This isn't Meet or Norbit, whatever the hell that movie was.
Norbit, yeah.
This is Eddie Murphy triumphant, big comeback.
Legit.
Recommend it.
Absolutely.
Netflix. Check it out.
How much more excited does it get you for Coming to America 2?
I've been holding off watching the trailer because I've been wanting to do a trailer reaction. I might do one with you after this podcast if you have time.
Okay.
Because I've been wanting to watch that trailer, and I'm so excited for that movie.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll plug in. If you haven't seen Coming to America, please watch it. I don't know what service it is on, but man, you get some like Eddie Murphy back in the day. Great stuff. Keith, what is your next movie?
So my next one, that's my number one comedy of all time, by the way.
Nice.
Absolutely. My next film, though, for this list is another bio. This is probably the first actual biopic, right? And it's a 2004 film, Ray, based on a section of life of the great Ray Charles, rhythm and blues artist, and yeah, one of the great musicians of all time. So many songs there were songs in here, and I'm ashamed to say I didn't realize. Oh, that was Ray Charles. I didn't know that. But yeah, man, directed by Taylor Hackford. It was awesome. Jamie Foxx, and one of the great performances of all time. He pretty much became Ray Charles in this movie.
Yes.
And of course, he won the Oscar for it for Best Actor. And
well deserved.
Yeah, absolutely. Kerry Washington, I think, may have been nominated as well. Was also played his wife in this film, and was really stellar performance in this. And yeah, it covers, I think, only maybe about, it's just, I won't say short. It's kind of from his childhood to his rise.
It covers his childhood, his early struggles, trying to, and people just taking advantage of him. Like, this movie really, really goes into like just how fucked up, you know, society can be, especially towards like
to a blind black man.
I mean, it's one thing to be a musician who doesn't know their way around the business and they get taken over. Being a blind man.
Yeah.
And that on top of it, it's just, I appreciated that so much about the movie, but please continue.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. And touches on all that stuff. Ray Charles was alive for this. This was well before he passed, maybe about a year or so before he passed. So he did have some input into it. But yeah, man, you get Regina King. Oh, Regina King also is, man. Her performance, one of his girlfriends, in this film, and she was awesome in this movie. You get Terrence Howard, I think, is in here.
Terrence Howard, yes, he is.
Here, our DC connection. You got Harry Lennox is in here.
Harry Lennox, yes, he is. Yep, absolutely.
Plays like his manager or something around
He plays one of his managers later on.
Yeah.
Clifton Powell is like kind of his manager,
Right. That's
longtime
right.
friend.
Yeah.
If you don't know who Clifton Powell is, in the movie Next Friday, he played Pinky.
Right. He did, didn't he? That's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah. But yeah, and I think this movie, you get into Ray Charles, and I'm a big, obviously, like I said, there's so many songs you might not have realized are Ray Charles that you'll get into when you get into this movie. But it's a great performance, and just covers, like I said, just one of those movies covers the life of one of our great artists of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I said, it's an incredible performance by Jamie Foxx. Like, you don't even really, it's not Jamie Foxx. Like, you're not even looking at it like it's Jamie Foxx. Like, it's like it's Ray Charles on the screen.
And you know what? Some on that note, some of his I can't remember who it was. It was a close relative. It might have been one of his children, it might have been, or it was some relative. They were on the set, and there was times when they forgot it was Jamie Foxx,
Right.
because that's how dedicated he was to this role. They couldn't at times tell the difference.
Right.
And jeez, man, watching the movie, Rami Malek is great as Freddie Mercury.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't even stand, not even the same ballpark as Jamie Foxx as Ray Charles. Wow.
Yeah.
So incredible. And Jamie Foxx, he is a natural talent all around. He can sing. He can act. He is Will Smith. Okay.
Yeah.
On that level, like what this did for his career, his acting career, shot him up.
Absolutely.
Shot him up all the way. I love this movie. I love that you picked it. It's a great, great choice. Definitely check it out. Ray. And I believe it's on Hulu.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Hulu. Yeah. By the way, Antoine Fisher, I forgot to mention. It's available for free on YouTube.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, YouTube.
I watched it on I don't know, some channel. I think it was IFC. I think it's where I watched it. So I didn't know that. That's awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
And
again, Ray available on Hulu. You need to be sold. Go watch Jamie Foxx's Oscar speech for winning Ray.
Yeah.
That'll get you right in.
Absolutely.
Great choice, Keith. I love it. My next movie is a movie that's fairly recent, a movie that has a lot of heart, a movie that's very important. And up until before I saw this movie, I did not know what a Green Book was. But my goodness, this movie is so good, inspired by a true friendship. And they're referencing Viggo Mortensen's character. And I believe in the movie he plays an Italian kind of, businessman, has a way with words, can diffuse the situation. And that's important if you're driving a character played by Mahershala Ali, who is a very good, very, very well-respected pianist in this movie. And what happens is Viggo Mortensen's character takes him. Oh, sorry. Dr. Don Shirley, I believe, is the name of Mahershala Ali's character. And Viggo Mortensen drives him around. And I don't want to. How would you describe it? The South during a time of, racial tensions.
Well, honestly, unsafe.
Unsafe.
Yeah. Not a good time to be black man traveling around by yourself. So,
but Dr. Don Shirley, played by the incredible Mahershala Ali, doesn't care. He wants to do it. He's so determined to do this. And yeah, like the poster says, a story of friendship. The interactions between these two, a lot of it takes place in the car, and it is awesome. It is incredible. Viggo Mortensen, you know him from Lord of the Rings. I love him from G.I. Jane. Absolutely brings it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a movie with fun moments. Very important stuff. Very a little bit lightweight, disturbing stuff for
Yeah.
sure. But man, these two right here are the heart of the movie for sure. And they find common ground. They're not so different. They just a couple of honest working good guys. Keith, what are your thoughts on Green Book?
I have not seen Green Book. I still haven't seen
Ooh,
this
it's
one.
okay. I haven't seen one of your recommendations too that we'll get to, but you're
Yeah,
missing out, sir.
yeah. I actually, well, I was aware of the Green Books, or the Green Book, if you want to call it that, because I've driven across the country, coast to coast 3 times myself, and I remember just when I was first doing it, I remember just researching, and I stumbled across that and went, "Oh wow, this is a thing that was a real thing," and it was
Yeah, I didn't even
absolutely
talk about that. Yeah, the Green Book. I didn't
yeah.
know that. Okay, if you don't, Keith, go ahead, explain it.
Okay, well, yeah, it's just a thing that was absolutely necessary for one thing, but yeah, it's just a listing of safe places to go if you're a black traveler. Mostly in the South, but it was expanded really for kind of the whole country. But it's some safe places to go for gas or food or for lodging or for automobile help.
Pretty much anything like
Yeah,
goods, convenience, any of that kind
right,
of stuff.
right, yeah. Just a safe place to go if you're traveling alone or if family or whatever, where you won't have any troubles from people who don't want you around.
Yeah,
So yeah, so definitely yeah. So I knew that was a real thing, but
yeah.
no, yeah, I haven't seen this movie yet.
His second Oscar, Marshall Ali won.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
he's that good in this movie. Um, One fun moment I just have to bring up: they driving through Kentucky. They stop by a KFC, and it's so fun. It's so fun.
Oh, I think that was a trailer, and he had never tried it before or something like that, or
Well, yeah, Don Shirley, played by Mahershala Ali, has not tried chicken,
okay,
fried chicken,
yeah,
at least from KFC. And like I said, the story of a true friendship,
yeah.
and just you'll love this movie. You'll enjoy it. I'm so glad I watched it. It's on Hulu, Green Book. Check it out. Yes. Keith, what is your next pick, sir?
All right, I gotta watch that, man. I gotta watch that movie. Uh, all right, where are we at here? Okay, so last one is one of the greats, directed by the late great John Singleton, who
Yes.
unfortunately lost a couple years ago. That is 1991's Boys in the Hood,
Mm,
and this movie is a
classic.
classic. Yeah, uh, obviously you got Ice Cube, you got the great Cube Gooding Jr., you got Morris Chestnut. This movie launched so many careers. John Singleton is his directorial debut, feature debut. He was the youngest director to be nominated for a Best Director Oscar at age 24, which is incredible. And it was the acting debut of Ice Cube. It was not the film debut of Cuba Gooding Jr., but it was I think his first major role. Obviously, Lawrence Fishburne, who had some bit parts here and there, but this is one of his first big starring roles. Morris Chestnut as well. Angela Bassett. Angela Bassett.
Neil Long, Regina King. Wow.
That's right. Yep, Regina King. Tyra Farrell, who is great, as well as so many people. MC8 is not MC8. Is MC8 in this movie? I think he is. I don't remember. Anyway,
So I told you that there was one movie on your list that I have not seen, and
yes.
regretfully, it's this movie. But hey, that's why we're doing this right now, okay?
Absolutely.
We're making recommendations for movies that you haven't seen for Black History Month that are particularly important. And Boys in the Hood is one of those movies. Please continue, Keith.
Absolutely. Yeah, you might be seeing it soon. Let's put it that way. But yeah, man, this movie is just a story, just right there in the title, and it's just about the kind of the day to day life of this young man who his parents are divorced. That plays like Cuba Gooding Jr. And his mother is a successful I can't remember what her occupation is, but he goes to live with his father, who lives in South Central Los Angeles, and just it's about his life growing up there, and what that is like, living in that area. And it's a lot of it is just some real insights, as we've never really got this before in Hollywood, right? And so we hadn't had this look at day-to-day life in the hood in LA presented to us, presented in this way. And there's people that have hopes and dreams that are sometimes, unfortunately, often dashed. And sometimes there's friendships, and there's relationships, and there's family stuff, and sometimes it's, unfortunately, often, especially at that time, does end in tragedy. And it's just about trying to overcome all that, and it's a great coming of age film. And like I said, lost so many careers. And I mean, this movie is a classic.
There was a movie a couple years ago starring Will Ferrell and Kevin Hart called Get Hard. And that damn movie spoiled this movie for me.
Did it really?
They talked about, have you seen the movie?
No.
They talked about Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart was trying to explain to Will Ferrell where he came from and what he had to go through.
Yeah.
And I don't remember quite a lot of it, but I bet you when I watch this movie, I'm going to be like, I knew that was coming, because fucking Kevin Hart spoiled it, because he lied to Will Ferrell to try and act gangster cool. And it's actually a really, really funny bit. But yeah, man, look, I am a fan of director John Singleton. Rest in peace. He was almost going to do a Tupac biopic that would have done that movie, that figure, that iconic figure in our world, justice, more than what Benny Boone did for All Eyes on Me. And I was looking at John Singleton's filmography, who again is the director, who is the director of Boys in the Hood, and it's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
Poetic Justice. I love that movie.
Yeah.
Four Brothers. Too Fast, Too Furious.
Right, Four Brothers. Okay. Yeah.
Rosewood. Wow,
that's a good movie.
I saw that movie as a kid. Again, grew up with one TV in the house. Okay, disturbing movie. But yeah, prolific director. Such a big loss in Hollywood. But yeah, great recommendation with the Boys in the Hood. It is currently on Prime Video, Vudu, and Google Play. It does cost to rent about $2 to $3, but Keith is recommending it. Great classic.
It does cost to rent about $2 to $3.
Sorry about that.
That's all good.
I said Google, and my Nest went off.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Always listening.
Don't make me go Tony Stark on you, okay?
Exactly.
Jarvis.
Yeah.
Anyways, man. Well, I have two, but I'll just quickly mention them. First one, One Night in Miami. Yes, Amazon original movie inspired by true events. These popular, important figures back in the day, Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, Jim Brown, Sam Cooke, all meet on one night and discuss their importance towards the civil rights movement and their responsibilities. Incredible acting, especially the guy who plays Malcolm X. So good. All of them. Muhammad Ali, that guy is great. Okay, there's some boxing sequences in there. Have you seen it?
No, I still haven't watched this yet.
Watch it. It's so good.
Yes.
A lot of dialogue. There is a lot of dialogue in this movie, okay? All right, but it's so important. Regina King does a great job in her directorial debut.
Yes.
These guys bring it. I highly recommend it. One Night in Miami. And then there's this movie that I watched that I probably won't watch a second time. Detroit.
Yeah, I haven't seen this either.
Catherine Bigelow, director of Hurt Locker, first female to win a Academy Award for directing the story of the 1967 Detroit riots,
yeah.
and an incident that happened at the Algiers Motel. John Boyega from the Star Wars movies, great dramatic performance. Will Poulter, the son from We Are the Millers, really brings it. Difficult role playing a racist cop, and he, oh my God, terrifying. Anthony Mackie, he brings it. He worked with Catherine Bigelow, the director, on the Hurt Locker. Yeah. This movie is so uncomfortable, but so important. So important. It really does not hold back on the injustices that I've read about. I'm not saying I'm from that time, but from what I've read about of that time. Yes, Detroit. I recommend it only if you're into serious drama, uncomfortable, like important, controversial subjects. Detroit, available on, I believe it's Netflix, if I'm not mistaken. Hulu.
Oh, is it?
Hulu.
Really? Okay.
Yes. Available on Hulu and One Night in Miami. Available on Prime Video. Keith?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining me on this podcast.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for having this conversation and letting me talk with you about, important and very high quality Black movies that everyone can enjoy. Mostly everyone can enjoy. These movies, highly recommend. You got the streaming services that they're on. Check them out, please. And leave us your thoughts on the movies that you've seen already, movies that you haven't seen, which ones that you're interested in. And that'll just about do it for the Fandom United podcast. Keith, thank you so much for joining me. I see your Twitter handle at Keith Barnes 79. Any parting words, sir?
Thank you, man. Anytime. Glad to come on and talk some DC stuff. Anything else? And I enjoyed it, man.
Absolutely. And my name is Gio. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Grey Goose Jedi. Yes, like the alcohol, Grey Goose. I do appreciate your time. I appreciate the subscription. Thank you for checking in, tuning in with us. And I'll catch you guys on the next Fandom United. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Catch you guys later.